What's this music that's going on?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, October 19th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside, for the first time in forever, the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
What's good, Greg?
You're back, I'm back, it's all happening.
It feels like it's meant to be.
How long? I feel like it was the week after PAX, we did one show together, and then you bounced and I bounced, and then it's just been hell since then.
It has been.
And I haven't seen you in forever. How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a wild couple of months, but I'm really looking forward to having some consistency at home and not, you know, going to 3 different countries in 6 weeks.
Yeah, that seems like that would be tough, Andrea. That doesn't seem like that'd be good for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling a little bit with like a head cold or something that I picked up while I was traveling, but...
Sure, international bugs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But now I've got the weekend to sleep and play video games.
Yeah, how far behind are you right now in the gaming season?
Pretty far.
That's the worst, right?
Yeah. I brought my console with me to Italy on my last trip with my family. Did not plug it in once.
That's always a heartbreaker.
Which is like good because I was spending time with my family, but bad because I'm really behind now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the amount of times I've talked myself out of bringing a console somewhere, because I've done it a bunch, but you most of the time you bring it, right, and it's you check in, somebody goes to shower, so you play for maybe an hour, and then you never really get back to it again.
Well, I was glad that I had it in Japan because the jet lag was so weird with the time change crossing the date line that I would be up at weird hours of the night or in the morning. It's not like you can go walk around at 4 a.m. And so that's why I thought, oh, bringing it to Europe would be great because there's another, you know, weird time change. Didn't work out that way though. I slept a lot.
So what are you playing right now? What are you trying to catch up with?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is like my life right now.
God, it's so good.
It's so good. I definitely need to catch up on Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Sure.
Behind on that. I need to catch up on Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You haven't beaten Spider-Man yet?
No,
oh,
man.
Oh, my God.
Like,
I'm so sorry.
Well, because what happened was when I'd come back from, I was in Denmark.
Yeah.
And then that's when Spider-Man had launched.
Sure.
And then I was only home for a few days, and I got my Assassin's Creed code early.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I just hold off on, you know, completing Spider-Man until I'm back? You know, and now here I am just sucked into AC.
But now you're spinning all these different plates,
and
right?
I got my Destiny grind to maintain and Festival of the Lost just started. Iron Banner is going on.
Yeah,
I gotta worry about it though.
Here's my question for you, as I believe, and I don't use this lightly.
Yes.
The industry's biggest Assassin's Creed Origins fan. How is Odyssey stacking up to that in your personal opinion?
To me, it's way better than Origins was.
That's my lady. That's my lady.
Origins, I love. You guys heard me talk about it endlessly last year. Loved Origins. Odyssey is way better. They took everything that they started with Origins and just improved upon it and made it better. And the best part that I like about Odyssey so far is the narrative. I haven't been this connected to an Assassin's Creed narrative probably since Brotherhood and really the whole Ezio trilogy. And I'm so invested, and I love how they've brought back some of the first Civilization stuff and brought back some of the modern day stuff. And it was funny because I just got into a big argument with Steimer about this on this week's episode of What's Good.
I'm sorry, what's that?
What's Good Games, our podcast. It just released this morning. You can find it, you know, on podcast services or youtube.com/whatsgoodgames. Because she hates the modern day stuff.
Sure.
And
she's right.
Well, no.
I don't need it.
No, listen, here was my argument to her, was that, listen, like, they need to have the modern day stuff there to have a connective thread to hold the franchise together, because otherwise all of these stories would just feel kind of disjointed, right? So they need that modern day element with Abstergo to justify why they can keep jumping protagonists and jumping time periods, right?
Yes.
I mean, and diehard Assassin's Creed fans who have been with the franchise since the beginning
hate this one because it's not Assassin's Creed anymore. So whatever, they can go to hell. It's a taste of a new generation. My generation, your generation.
Greg, I don't know what these people are talking about. This game feels so much like Assassin's Creed, and I've played every single game in the franchise, and I honestly don't know where that argument is coming from.
Yeah.
Sure, there's no like Templar robes and like some of the more, you know, traditional storylines.
Overt things that you're used to from Assassin's Creed, but the idea is there.
I think the hints of it though are so much more nuanced in a really great way.
Okay. Before we move on, because I know either people love the Assassin's Creed talk because they love it or just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one. You get to answer this all by yourself because you've played every Assassin's Creed and you love the franchise so much. Straight Goopin, my boy, writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, as someone who's never played an Assassin's Creed game, would you recommend Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
Yes, absolutely.
Me too, of course, yeah.
You don't have to know anything about the Templars and the Assassins and Abstergo and the Animus to enjoy Assassin's Creed Odyssey as a game.
Nailed it.
But if you do, it's just that much better.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. kindafunny.com/KFGD with your questions, comments, bad PSN names for a little bit longer, and of course, everything else under the video game sun. Then watch us record it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. Housekeeping for you. Extra Life 2018 is November 3rd. We'll be streaming games and shenanigans for 24 hours as we raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. You can join the team right now and raise money for your local children's hospital or donate just your hard-earned bucks over at kindafunny.com/extralife. Also, Nick and I will be at EGLX in Toronto next week. You can find all the details on that at kindafunny.com/EGLX. And today, we're brought to you by Hims, MeUndies, and Loot Crate, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 6 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
It's a jam-packed one today, I'll tell you.
Busy
what,
Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Usually quiet. Not today. Number 1, Days Gone has been delayed. This is from a PlayStation blog post. We want to share a change in release date for this highly anticipated title from Bend Studio. We recently decided to move the release date of Days Gone from the crowded February timeframe to April 26th, 2019. While the studio is eager to see Days Gone in the hands of fans, Bend Studio will take the opportunity to further polish Days Gone. What do you think?
I was
Pregnant pause.
waiting.
Good pregnant pause. Good pregnant pause. We haven't done it in a while.
I mean, this you could see coming a mile away.
You knew somebody had to budge, right? February 22nd, this standoff of
I
a
hope
million
more
games.
people budge,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
What,
It's still too
Anthem.
crowded.
It was Days Gone. It's Anthem.
Metro Exodus.
Metro Exodus. Is Devil May Cry in there? No, Crackdown. Yeah.
Devil May Cry is, I think, later in the spring.
Okay.
I have to double check that.
Kindafunny.com/you're wrong. They can do it.
And there's something else there too. There's like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
So I'm glad the Days Gone pushed. We also have not seen much of this game.
Yeah.
We've seen that one demo that we played at Judges Week. And we've seen what they've showed previously. But you would hope at this point, if they were going to launch in February, that we would have had like a comprehensive, at least like a trailer or a dev diary
Game
or
Informer
something.
had done their big blast, right? They had all the coverage pre-E3. We got it to play it at pre-E3, see a little bit more at E3 stuff, and then roll on here in a lot of quietness as you let now the juggernauts of the fall battle it out and then swoop in and say something.
However, this being pushed to April makes me kind of go, what's the deal with The Last of Us Part 2? When is that game coming out?
It's almost as if your co-host has been saying that game is far away and nobody wanted to believe him.
Is that game 2020? Do you think that's a PS5 launch game?
I definitely think it's not 2019. I do not think it's 2019. And I've been saying that for a long time. Nobody likes to listen to Greg Miller.
It would be kind of ridiculous for Sony to launch 2 first-party zombie games within 6 months of each other.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so too. And I think that, Last of Us will need more time, not because it's bad or anything, just because it's going to be a huge undertaking. They want to get it out there and they want to do it right. Yeah, I think it's definitely pushed out further.
And don't you wrong me about zombies. I know the Days Gone are freakers, and I know The Last of Us are clickers. Okay.
They're zombies, and everybody knows it. Cool, Greg, do you know it?
I know it.
Rockan writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I know you might put Days Gone delay in new dates, but I want to give a shout out to Bend for being honest. Quote, hey, February is too busy, so the game is getting delayed 2 months, and we might as well polish it with the extra time. End quote. Good on you, Bend. We can certainly wait. Exactly. 100%. This goes right back to what we've been talking about all week with Crunch, right? Like, let's not put a gun to everybody's head and make them work nonstop and try to get this date that if it isn't the right date for it. And I think, since we've seen everything crop up in February, on February 22nd, probably the best idea to kick it. Because I do think that from what I played of Days Gone, it turned a corner for me of like, ooh, I actually am interested in this game. This game, and I know Sony Bend, I like Sam Witwer, I like zombies. On paper in general, I'm like, oh, that's something I'm interested in. But all the stuff I had seen prior to playing it was just like, I don't know. I'm not super excited to play it and start experiencing that world and running around. I was like, oh, you know what? I am excited to put time into this. But yes, if it's going up against Anthem and it's like the Division is in its shadow right there, you start worrying about how much time I'd actually have to play for right there for that game.
Right. And just to confirm, Devil May Cry 5 is March 8th, 2019.
Crushed it. Good job, Andrea.
That game's
Number
gonna be
2.
good.
Indie game shops aren't getting Red Dead Redemption. Some indie game shops, I should say, are not getting Red Dead Redemption 2 until November. This is from Cecilia over at Kotaku. In the lead up to Red Dead Redemption 2's October 26th release, Zakk spent over $3,300 adorning his small local chain of Pennsylvania video game stores with billboards, flyers, posters, and other displays touting the highly anticipated Western adventure game that his customers began pre-ordering 2 years ago. It was at the store's own expense, but Geig figured that the advertising dollars would surely convert to sales of the upcoming game. But a couple weeks ago, Geig says his distributor had some bad news. He wouldn't be getting the game on time for its release. Across the country, other local game stores were hearing the same thing. According to local game stores and distributors interviewed by Kotaku, Mom and Pop, also known as Mom and Grop, gaming outlets, may not be receiving the most anticipated game of the year on October 26th, the day of its release. To get in on the hype, these customers will likely download the game on their PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or pick it up from retailers like GameStop or Best Buy, which will be receiving the game on time. While a few stores have said that they might be able to get Xbox One copies on time, in general, local stores will be cut out of the first week of Red Dead Redemption 2 sales, which will choke their earnings for the game. Between Geig's 4 stores, he predicts his customers would have purchased more than 1,000 copies, he said. That's potentially $60,000 in lost sales. Even GameFly, the top game rental service, won't be getting the game on time. Quote, our supplier has indicated that we will not receive the game prior to its release date, it wrote in an email to customers this morning. At the time, we do not expect to ship PS4 discs before Wednesday, November 7th. We understand Red Dead Redemption 2 is a very popular game and apologize for this delay. Neither Rockstar nor its parent company, Take-Two Interactive, have responded to Kotaku's requests for comment. Local game retailers interviewed by Kotaku aren't sure why this is happening. Several say they were told by distributors that it was an issue with supply. Derek Holland, who manages a game store in Colorado, isn't so sure that's the reason. 5 days to a week is a long time to be controlling for leaks, he said. I think if they were worried about street date, they could get it to us on if they weren't worried about street date, they could get us to on the 26th, he told me. He does not think it could possibly be a supply issue, considering rumors he read about on IGN.com that the game's physical copy is printed on 2 discs, not 1. That's a lot of discs to print.
So this is an interesting story.
And there's a lot. I cut out a bunch, so go give Kotaku the click and Cecilia. It's a great article.
I'm going to provide a little bit of context that I think might explain what's happening here. Obviously digital has become a much bigger thing in 2018 than it was in 2013 when GTA 5 launched. Also, wild to think Rockstar has not released a game since the launch of GTA 5.
Right.
Obviously, they've released other types of GTA on different platforms
stuff.
and GTA Online, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean like a full retail launch of a brand new game.
Yeah.
The digital download size, which was just released this morning, according to the support page for Red Dead Redemption 2, is 99 gigabytes on PlayStation 4, plus an additional 50 gigabytes if you're getting the digital only. So even if you have the disc, apparently you need 99 gigabytes of space. Plus on Xbox, you're going to need 107 gigabytes. This is a massive install. And that means that going digital might not be possible for some people, depending on their internet access. However, that's one thing to consider. The bigger thing that I thought of immediately when I read this story was, man, I wonder if this is a security issue, because if you remember during GTA 5's launch, Rockstar had several armed robbery incidences with people getting robbed at gunpoint for copies of the game. And so maybe this time around they were like, well, let's be overly precautious. We don't want anybody losing their life over a video game. Yeah. Maybe we just limit who we ship the physical copies to people who can secure their warehouses, who can secure their retail supply chain.
Well, another big part.
Can a mom and grop shop do that?
Well, the big thing too is the fact that, and I'm casting a wide net here. This is a very broad paintbrush I'm using. When Street Date is broken on purpose and maliciously to some extent, it is mom and grop.
Yep.
Most times.
Because they don't care.
GameStop has a whole bunch of things, and there's a lot that can reverberate back to them. But I remember distinctively when I was at IGN, we were in SF, but down in LA, the LA office would go to this local mom and grop shop that broke release date on everything. And so it would be that
we did too when I lived and worked
IGN
in
would
LA.
roll over there.
Yeah.
Cass Messina and Bozon would buy like a million things of Call of Duty and then overnight them up to us, so we all had copies or whatever. Because and that continues to go on, and it seems like when you see on Reddit now, which is the portal of the internet for everyone, when you see people early having it, it usually came from a mom and grop shop, and when you see them wrapped in cellophane with the "do not sell before October 26th," it's in the back of Walmart, where like there is a thing of like, you can't fucking touch that, don't touch that, that's a huge deal. Yeah. And I don't know if that's the thing, but I do think there's probably truth in the middle somewhere of like, it's partly because of marketing and like, no, we don't want this getting out and getting spoiled and ruined, and I think it is partly, no, we don't want armed robberies over this, and we don't want crazy things happening for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, regardless of what the actual reasons are for why these stores haven't gotten their retail copies, it's unfortunate.
100%.
It's unfortunate for the health of these smaller local businesses. It's unfortunate for gamers who rely on these local businesses who can't get Amazon Prime, who don't have access to digital copies for whatever reason.
And again, my broad brush, it sucks for a guy who's probably never done that. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm talking about a few bad apples spoiling the reputation for this.
No, absolutely. You're totally right. It's really just an unfortunate set of circumstances that Rockstar's in a position to withhold copies because they can, because they know that this game is going to sell no matter who has it, and they get to be choosy about who they give access to, and that's really just kind of sad for these small business owners.
100%. But it'll be interesting to see it continuing, how this all shakes out. 1 week, Andrea. 1 week from today, everyone's life changes.
It's true.
Number 3, Skybound expects The Walking Dead Episode 3 of the final season to ship this year. This is from Matthen Handrahan over at GamesIndustry.biz. Matthew will now be referred to as just Matthew from GamesIndustry.biz. I always butcher his last name and I feel bad. Skybound Games CEO Ian Howe has reassured fans of the Telltale's The Walking Dead that the 3rd episode of its final season will be released this year. Quote, "Given that you guys have been so supportive and patient, I'm going out on a limb and will say, yes, I fully expect episode 3 to be this year, and I'll be very disappointed if we can't make that happen," he said, while also mentioning that, quote, "There is no reason for us to hold information on dates back." I think I cut out, I was truncating. This came from a Reddit AMA he was doing. In terms of getting the Walking Dead team back together, Howe made it clear that Skybound is not asking any of them to relocate from the Bay Area, where Telltale is based, to its own offices in Los Angeles. Instead, a location will be found that will suit the practical realities of getting to work each day. The difficulty in reuniting the team, Howe said, is in how quickly some of them have moved on, and yet Howe met with more than 40 of them last week to discuss Skybound's plans. Quite simply, some of the team have already been offered new opportunities, parentheses, which is a really good thing. So we're still figuring out who is available and who isn't, he said. It's our absolute intention to complete this story with the people who have brought it this far. We're only going to look outside of that group in situations where we have no other choice, which hopefully will not be too often. The other thing to consider is even if some of the team are still looking for a job, that doesn't automatically mean that they want to come back. These guys have put a huge amount of emotion into this series, and they've been through a tough couple of weeks. It would be completely understandable if that meant some of the team have reservations about coming back to finish the game. He added, "As soon as the lawyers have done their thing, we'll be able to speak more openly." Skybound continue to try to do the right thing in a very shitty situation. Pick up the pieces, finish their IP. I don't believe... I mean, I wish them luck. I love Skybound. I've worked with them a lot, obviously. I know a whole bunch of people over there are great people. I don't believe for a fucking nanosecond this game's coming out this year. It's middle of October and you still don't have the team assembled. Granted, you have to worry about how far episode 3 had been in production and how close it was to being ready before everything went to shit at Telltale.
Well, and not to mention all of the work in progress with all the assets and the code and all the computers that everything was stored on.
Where you left
and
off on, you're going to
servers
come back. I mean, think about how hard it is to make a video when you don't have the one PNG file you were using from before and everything pops up red and like
It's almost as if Telltale should have approached Skybound maybe before they blew
if
everything
anyone
up.
had foresight to be like, these deals might fall through and fuck our company, what if we talked to people about not fucking our employees? Yeah, that would have been helpful. So it's a shitty situation for everyone involved and for Skybound. I do appreciate Ian Howe here, CEO of Skybound Games, coming out and being like, hey, I'll totally answer whatever I can. You know, I can only say so much until the lawyers sign off and we dot the T's or dot the I's, cross the T's. But the idea of like, yeah, we're still looking for a place that works in San Francisco. We're still talking to the team. Like, best case scenario, you spin it up in the next 2 weeks. That's still pretty much a month and a half to take this game from whatever state it's in on whatever drives it's in to getting it actually out. I think that's a Herculean undertaking. Again, maybe it's further along than I think it is. Obviously, they had already announced release dates. I'm sure they were deep into development, or not development, well, development, but not like, you know, pre-production. Deep into making this thing and getting it ready, but that's a huge task. I wish them well. I wouldn't hold your breath. Number 4. Is WB Montreal working on 2 DC Comics games? This comes from ResetEra, where user established 1992, EST 1992 posts. Recently, I reported on some job listings that pointed to WB Montreal's next game being a multiplayer, next-gen new IP, and it now seems like more has been spilled on yet another one of their projects. In that established 1992 link to his previous thing, which then linked to a WB Montreal post that was talking about this multiplayer next-gen new IP thing. In a Love Thy Nerd podcast network recent interview, you can find this on YouTube, Osama Dorius, a senior game designer at WB Montreal, let it slip that he just finished working on an open-world DC Universe main console game and has moved on to a new, different WB Montreal project. He also mentioned that the property he worked on is a major DC property and one of the main reasons he joined WB Montreal alongside his former Ubisoft boss and WB Montreal's new game director, Jeff Eleanor. Easy assumption would be that WB Montreal has been tinkering away on yet another installment of the Arkham franchise, but after a look at his various social media profiles, the game may actually be something different. Osama happens to be a really big Batman fan, but someone also plastered on his Instagram file is none other than the big blue Boy Scout himself, Superman. WB Montreal has worked on a Superman game in the past, but it seems as if it never got the green light stage and was canned. Of course, this is from a while ago. You saw that screenshot of Superman and like information next to him and stuff like that. With the new change in leadership, could they have moved back to this project? Who knows? My first bet is still on Batman, but with the support of a purported Rocksteady Superman game, WB might have reopened themselves to the idea. This is such a take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Granted, this podcast is up. Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network is on YouTube. You can go watch the thing with Osama.
First off, how does a senior designer get permission to be on a podcast and openly talk about anything? Or was he really just that clueless as to thinking that he could talk about what he's working on?
Being vague.
And people wouldn't see it.
He's working on a DC Universe main console game, moved on to a new different WB Montreal project. He also mentioned that the property he worked on is a major DC property. Whatever. You knew that was happening. We knew WB Montreal, people who made an excellent game called Arkham Origins that everyone looks past and wants to shit on for no reason, was an excellent fucking DC game, an excellent Batman game, had the best boss fight of the franchise, the quadrilogy with Deathstroke. I digress. Yeah, whatever happened with that Superman game, nobody knows, but I've heard all manner of rumor from up north with WB Montreal on what they've been working on and what this game was going to be and what it's pivoted to this and this got canceled and this got... I'll believe it when I see it. But of course, if somebody on ResetEra is going to fart and talk about DC Comics, you know I'm going to mention it.
Of course.
It's got to be brought up and put on your radar, everybody, that DC Comics is coming back one day.
Well, Warner Brothers has been relatively quiet.
They have been.
For the last couple of years. I mean, outside of their Lego franchises. I mean, it's time. Can I float something weird to you? Yes.
Crazy to you?
Bring it.
What if they did a direct? What if they did a press conference? What if they did whatever you want to call it? And it was, hey, everybody, here's the Harry Potter RPG. Here's Rocksteady's next game. Here's WB Montreal's next game. And then a bunch of littler things too to say. And I'm not saying like a 2-hour long thing. They do it like a direct. They do like 30 minutes, 15 minutes, a Bethesda event. I'm
with you in that would be cool.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is a Hollywood company.
Yeah.
They won't do it that way.
Okay.
They need more pomp and circumstance.
Okay.
So we probably won't see these kinds of announcements until E3. I really don't think it's GDC. Maybe at the earliest.
What about Game Awards? Could we get a Rocksteady trailer at
Like
Game
a
Awards?
teaser trailer?
Yeah, well, you can get a full announcement.
Maybe with no PSX for third-party announcements.
Hey, what's up? Kind of Funny Game Showcase.
I mean, maybe.
But Rocksteady or whoever, you would go to Game Awards
Game
as
Awards
you should.
Game Awards is growing year over year, and Jeff is doing a great
100%.
job with that show. So I think when he first started Game Awards, a lot of the publishers were maybe a little bit hesitant.
Right.
To
you didn't know what you're getting
go
into,
in
right?
all the way.
And I think the way I think year after year, you see Nintendo lean more and more into it. I think that's a great, like, hey, we think you're doing a great job.
Well, Nintendo has always had the luxury of kind of marching to the beat of their own drum and doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
But I remember in the years that it transitioned from being on TV, right? Spike
stuff,
TV, where Jeff was still, producing it, into when it went digital only, there was a shift in kind of like this collective consciousness about what's more important, being on TV and getting like the TV views and Nielsen ratings.
Sure.
Or reaching an engaged massive audience of people who are actually buying your product. And 100%. I think Jeff has really successfully transitioned.
Oh my God, he's crushed at it.
And really showed people like, hey, you don't need to be on TV in order for this to be impactful. Look at how many millions of people are watching E3 coverage digitally only.
Well, I mean, when he puts out the stats for the Game Awards after every year, that Monday, usually after the Thursday show, right? Like you see it year over year going and growing. And I think we've crossed the line where I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that Rocksteady and WB would be like, yes, let's debut whatever.
I think we're there now. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibility.
Sure.
Like that we would get a teaser, but I still think it probably will be E3 next year.
Okay. I'll take it.
Okay.
Any DC game you want to give me, I'll take it. Whenever you want to give it to me. Number 5, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has brought in $500 million in 3 days.
They have.
This is we could have just blanked out the number and you would have known this would have been a headline. Brendan Sinclair over at GamesIndustry.biz writes, no single player, no problem. Activision today announced that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 brought in more than $500 million in worldwide sales over the course of its launch weekend. That's the same figure the publisher revealed last year for Call of Duty World War II, but still down from the series' high point of this generation, Black Ops 3, which brought in $550 million in its first 3 days. That said, it's still well above the generation's low point, Infinite Warfare, which brought in less than half of World War II's total.
Black Ops is back. Black Ops is super popular in not only just shooters at large, but within the Call of Duty ecosystem. People are excited about Blackout, the Battle Royale mode.
I was going to say is I think what's interesting about this one, Black Ops 4, is the fact that it's definitely crossed out of just, hey, I'm the Call of Duty person. Now it is very much like, oh man, it's got a cool Battle Royale, or I hear it's a cool Battle Royale, I want to try it. And it seems like everybody's jumping in and getting a few games.
Well, and they also doubled down on zombies, which has been a super popular part of that franchise. Since, Treyarch came up with the idea.
Yeah.
And I think they're really just doing all the things right that they needed to after, the franchise kind of stumbled a little bit in the last couple of years. They're coming back strong, and Call of Duty has so much marketing power behind it that, there was no way that this was going to flop. So it's going to be interesting to see, its legs, because historically, Call of Duty has remained in the top 10 NPD selling games throughout the duration of the entire year.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the times, there's 2 Call of Duty games within the top 10. But we've had such a strong couple of years back-to-back with 2018 and 2017. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to maintain that dominance in sales with all of the competition that's happening now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. Hats off to them.
Congrats.
I'm glad everybody's enjoying Blackout. Number 6, final story on the Roper Report for this Friday and this week. You might want to opt out of this new Discord thing. Heather Alexandra over at Kotaku writes, a small but important change to Discord's terms of service has big ramifications for users. The social app's terms now include a class waiver, which would prevent participation in larger lawsuits. It's supposedly meant to prevent frivolous lawsuits, but if you want to protect your consumer rights, a simple email will opt you out of the policy. The change was included in Discord's October 16th update, adding a small class waiver section in the terms of service. Quote, Discord and you agree to resolve any dispute will be brought in an individual capacity and not on behalf of or as part of any purported class, consolidated, or representative proceeding, it states. The section notes that these proceedings would be handled by an arbiter, but does not specify who. In essence, this section says you agree to settle any issues with Discord one-on-one using that arbiter instead of, say, suing. Since that arbiter could be a firm hired by Discord, it might not even be in your best interest to adhere to the policy. The good news is that Discord allows you to opt out by sending an email to arbitration-opt-out@discord.com saying that you withdraw. You have 90 days to do so and should make sure you're using the email associated with your Discord account. End story.
Cool.
Something out there, man. Just a hey, heads up.
Every class action lawsuit I've ever been a part of, I've earned like $7.20.
Dude, I got $1.90 once from Walmart. $1.90. It was hot. That's what I needed. They were taking advantage of me. I didn't even know, apparently. I don't even know.
That's the funny part. Is like we never know.
You just get a check and it's like, oh, this got settled? All right, cool. Yeah, something interesting. I think you'd be surprised probably if you read through the terms of services, the amount of people you can't sue that are all these things of arbitration.
Most people you can't engage in arbitration with.
I'll let you know right now, you can't sue Cool Greg. Nope. He's off the grid.
Exactly. Why would you want to?
Showing up. Yeah, exactly.
Good luck trying to subpoena him.
Andrea, I can't wait to see what I can opt out of next, but that means I have to wait for things to opt out of. If I wanted things to opt into, like what games came to the mom and grop shops today, if they got games shipped to them, where would I go?
Why, Greg, you would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today. Cool Greg, stay on your toes. I think there's a game on here you're gonna have to search for yourself because I like it. I think it sounds like a Cool Greg jam. Out today, Dark Souls Remastered on Switch, Dark Souls Trilogy on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and then one that might be for Cool Greg, Halloween Forever on PlayStation 4 and PS Vita. Cool Greg, can I get a trailer for Halloween Forever? PlayStation 4. Meanwhile, I Hate Running Backwards comes to Switch. The Legend of Evil comes to Switch. Pizza Titan Ultra comes to Switch. Residence of Fate 4K/HD edition comes to PlayStation 4. Riot Civil Unrest comes to PlayStation 4. Soul Calibur 6 comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. And Tied Together comes to Switch, a game we played for party mode in the recent thing we did. And it's really fun for a co-op thing. You and I think it's up to 3 friends. You should check out that if you want to do it. They didn't pay me to say it. I'm just letting you know. Cool Greg is showing me Halloween Forever. Cool Greg, let me see it. Cool Greg, off the top of your head already, does this look like a Cool Greg jam? You're all about this? Yeah. See this look, if you're an audio listener, you are a jack-o'-lantern man in overalls, and you are spitting fire at people.
The graphic art style is 8-bit in the vein of like original Super Mario Brothers.
Sure.
Like it almost looks like original Super Mario Brothers level design.
And you can play it on your Vita, so what else do you guys want? Vita lives, am I right? Yeah. Never forget. Rest in peace, Gio Corsi. Still very much alive. That was a joke, unless he died already.
He's
and then
not.
It's one of those,
he's very much alive.
It's one of those weird things. We love you, Gio. We miss you. Come visit. New dates for you. Durancy comes to. I'm plowing through that one. I don't know. Duranson, PlayStation 4, November 6, 2018. Worth pointing out, these 3 PlayStation dates I'm about to give you were all bundled with the Days Gone thing as a way, I think, to hide Days Gone's delayed. They're like, here's some other stuff too. Concrete Genie, spring 2019. Cool, Greg, you all about it?
So about it. So ready for it.
Concrete Genie looks really neat.
It's a Cool Greg jam, and they're down in San Mateo. I'm saying we got to get Cool Greg down there as story consultant for tagging. Everybody's Golf VR, spring 2019. Can't wait. This is a story that was almost its own news story, but there was too many news stories. Bloody disgusting reports. Metal Gear Survive is getting Silent Hill and Castlevania DLC. Metal Gear Survive will be adding Silent Hill and Castlevania themed content on October 23rd, 2018 in the form of the Researcher Story Special Edition single play event. The event offers people 5 Castlevania and Silent Hill related rewards. The event will run from October 23rd to November 6th. So if you were saying, are people still playing Metal Gear Survive? I don't know, but there's definitely DLC coming still. Psyonix has also announced that the release of Rocket ID, its system for allowing cross-platform parties in Rocket League, has been pushed to 2019.
So it's interesting that you just put this under new dates because we made this a full story on what's good this week.
Well, can I just bring you, yesterday it was one of those you're wrongs. This happened while you were live.
Right.
And so then it was like, well, so I just want to, tell me the news story side of it more.
Well,
was it just more of a discussion or is there more news I missed from it?
More of a discussion because of the expanded explanation they gave as to why they're...
Oh, I didn't see this. Tell me.
As to why they're pushing it to 2019. And I brought it up not to like dig at Psyonix because clearly Rocket League is awesome and a lot of people love playing Rocket League and they've been a champion for crossplay for a very long time.
Some of the first, yeah.
But...
All right, one of the biggest, I guess.
They also were kind of arrogant about it when they brought it up, constantly digging at PlayStation, being like,
oh, we can flip a switch and be ready to go.
Exactly. And now, oh, lo and behold, you can't flip a switch and just be ready to go.
But you can paraphrase. You don't have to.
Well, basically, it's just that they want to make sure that the Rocket ID system is working as intended across all platforms, and in order to make sure that the Rocket ID system is working, they need a little bit more time before they launch it. However, it's worth noting that they still haven't been given the green light by Sony to turn on crossplay. Right now, it's still, the beta is still locked to Fortnite. It's the only game that has it.
See that when
But even if Sony came to them tomorrow and said, "All right, we're good to go," they clearly aren't ready until early 2019.
Can you pull up the statement for me?
Yeah,
because here's what when I read the headline of they're pushing this to 2019. For me, I was like, blood in the water. I bet they're timing this with an announcement. I bet they are going to get into the beta, because I've always said that after Fortnite, Rocket League's the next biggest one to do it outside of Minecraft would be. Whatever, Minecraft, but I think that takes even longer. I think Rocket League, as we have said, are the people who are talking the most about it. So when I saw the headline, I was like, I bet we're waiting for one giant push of everybody can play together.
So they said on RocketLeague.com, while our goal was to release Rocket ID before the end of 2018, we've made the difficult decision to push its release into early 2019. The good news is that with Sony's recent announcements regarding full cross-platform functionality, we can now make additional changes to prepare Rocket ID for all platforms should we receive permission to do so. We're working incredibly hard to ensure it's as intuitive, stable, and polished as possible before releasing it to the world. We know the wait has been frustrating for many of you who are eager for this feature, and we thank you for your patience as we continue to work on cross-platform party support.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to put the screws to Sony even more. Like, we're not going to put it out with... It's a pain in the ass to put it out and like have things grayed out and act like we can't do it.
Well, I mean, also, I think it's worth noting that crossplay isn't as easy as some people like to think it is. And this has been an ongoing discussion in regards to crossplay, and how the reason why Epic was able to do it relatively swiftly is because they already had an Epic ID system built in.
Infrastructure was there.
Right? And they also have like really intimate knowledge of how the back-end technology works. And they have an established relationship with all of the platform holders as like one of the top engines that people use to build their games.
Sure.
So they were set up for success for crossplay, whereas several other publishers and developers may need to tinker a little bit longer before they're ready to push it live.
Interesting. We'll see. 2019, embarrassingly close.
Today
I looked
2
at
months away.
Today I put something on the calendar at home before I ran out, and I looked at the calendar and I did that squint, and I'm like, oh my God. And Jen's like, what? I'm like, it's the 19th of October.
Yeah.
It's the 19th of, where did this month go? Got this showcase is going to be here. Oh God.
So exciting though, Greg.
It is very exciting. Very tiring, and I can't sleep, but no big deal. Deals of the day for you.
Would you say you're crunching, Greg?
I am crunching on the kind of funny game showcase. I'm going to delay it. No big deal. Everybody fun. This comes from Xbox. We're excited to finally give Xbox One players the chance to play Conan Exiles for free for a limited time from 12:01 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday, October 18th to midnight Pacific time on Sunday, October 21st. Well, I guess Monday morning, October 22nd. Xbox Live Gold members can download and play our open world survival game for free. And if you decide to make the plunge and buy it, we're also offering a hefty discount, up to 40% off from October 18th to October 21st. Next one for you. This is from PlayStation. Welcome to the Sale of the Dead. Starting tomorrow, enjoy frightfully good discounts on games for all ye looking, Amy Gills wrote it, all ye looking for chills and thrills. Sleep with one eye open after battling through titles like BioShock The Collection, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, We Happy Few, and more.
Is The Witcher a scary game though?
Yeah, you fight monsters.
Yeah, but
He hunts monsters.
I know he's a monster hunter, but I don't know.
Sale of the Dead. It doesn't say it's, chills and thrills. It's thrilling.
BioShock, creepy
Sure.
game.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys have never played BioShock, get that collection. It is good.
BioShock's great. Did you ever play Steve Gainer's DLC, Minerva's Den, for BioShock 2?
Did not know.
Everyone always says it's like one of the best pieces of DLC, period. Not for the game, but
Well,
period.
I have the collection. I could boot it up.
Yeah, you can jump right to it. I never did. I've never done either. You know what I mean? Because I hate Steve Gaynor because he didn't get no Gone Home Platinum.
Oh,
Gave me one,
Steve,
I got
it's okay.
First one ever in
Kinda
Tacoma.
Funny loves you. Don't
big
listen
deal.
to Greg.
No, he knows. He knows what he's done. Time for reader mail, but first I want to tell you about our sponsors. First, Hims. Did you know that 66% of men lose hair by their hair, not just random hair, lose their hair by the age of 35? And the thing is, once you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. It's easier to keep what you have than replace what you've lost. That's why there's forhims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness, and more for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. How do we know? On the other side of the wall, Nick Scarpino and Andy Cortez use 4Hims. They took photos of their hairlines, sent them into 4Hims.com. A doctor talked to them about what they need. They got prescriptions, generic equivalents to the name brands. You know, they get it cheaper this way. And now they're over there working on their hair. Andy gets the gummies, and Nick eats them, and Andy gets really mad at him. There's no waiting room, no awkward in-person doctor visits. You can save hours by going to 4hims.com. You can order right now. My listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to a doctor or pharmacy. Go to 4hims.com/gamesdaily. That's FORHIMS.com/gamesdaily. 4hims.com/gamesdaily. Meanwhile, our other sponsors, MeUndies. You know I only wear MeUndies. I bought my first thing, loved them so much, threw away the other underwear, bought more MeUndies. Now I'm just a MeUndies person. I love them. Cool, Greg, do I love them?
Oh, too much.
Thank you so much. They've now introduced lounge pants. These are made from the same micromodal fabric as their undies. And let me tell you, the undies feel really good. That's why I'm ordering lounge pants, because I need to have this on my legs as well. My calves need to feel how good the other parts of me feel. MeUndies also loves celebrating the fall season with fun, so you can get some Halloween prints. Check out the latest jack-o'-lantern prints in undies, socks, and bralettes. The best parts, you can join the membership, which would get you everything cheaper. MeUndies has a great offer for my listeners. For any first-time purchasers, when you purchase any MeUndies, you get 15% off and free shipping. This is a no-brainer. Get 15% off a pair of the most comfortable undies you'll ever put on. To get your 15% off your first pair, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/gamesdaily. That's MeUndies.com/gamesdaily. And the final sponsor, Loot Crate. We love Loot Crate. I've been drinking out of that Foxhound cup. I think Benny's drinking out of it right now in the other room. You get Loot Crate sent to your door. You open it up, and it's a bunch of geek, nerdy, video game, all sorts of crazy stuff, comics, all this stuff put in there. And it's all fun, nerdy stuff you can only get there. And it's great. And it's a blind box, and you get it. You can join with a new one, Loot Gaming, which is specifically a subscription box, monthly, delivered directly to your door with gaming exclusive collectibles in it. Like right now, Nightmare is the theme. You can get Soul Calibur 2, Silent Hill, Psychonauts, and Cuphead collectibles sent to you. It's $60 of value in a crate for less than $29 a month. The crate's going to sell out, so you have to order right now if you want Nightmare. Get the best surprises each month from the largest geek and gaming subscription company. Geek out in style with Loot Crate. Subscribe now by going to lootcrate.com/games. Enter the code GAMES to save an exclusive 30% off. That's lootcrate.com/games. Enter the code GAMES to save 30% off your subscription.
Hey, Greg, before you get into some reader mail.
You do it, Andrea.
There's been several people who've already written into You're Wrong, kindafunny.com/You're Wrong about Rocket League. And so I want to just quickly clarify, because everyone's like, Andrea, you're wrong about flipping a switch, and that the Rocket ID is just for cross parties and not just cross platform. And I want to say, there's no point in having cross platform play unless you can have cross parties. Like, why would I need to matchmake with people on other platforms if I'm not playing with my friends? What would the random pool of people on one platform be versus the random pool of people on several platforms be? The whole point of crossplay is to play with people you know on other systems. Greg, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. And so, yeah, crossplay already works, but it's this cross-party system, with the exception of PlayStation. But it's this cross shenanigans system of getting everybody together that seems to be the trouble. Wink, wink. They're just waiting for PlayStation, guys.
Yes.
Hold your breath, everybody. They just want to put out one thing rather than patch out the thing they already did.
Yes.
Wink, wink, everybody. Take it to the bank. Cool, Greg, you're going to the bank?
Maybe. What to do? I'll bring that.
Thank you, Cool Greg. All right, we got there. Zakk from Indianapolis writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I had the chance to play Google's Project Stream and have to admit that I'm thoroughly impressed with its performance. I know we're likely a long way away from public access. I don't think so. But how do you think this platform would be monetized? I'm sure you would have to pay for the games by monthly subscription or individual purchase, but do you think you would also have to pay for cloud storage so the game could be held under your account? Have you used Project Stream?
Have not used it yet. Just heard of people using it.
I'm in. I love it.
Yeah,
It's impressive.
I've heard good things. I still am incredibly skeptical. And the reason I'm skeptical is because gamers as a community have demonstrated historically that ownership is important to them. Yep. And this is what tanked Xbox One's original digital ideas when that console launched and forced Microsoft to change some of their stances and some of their policies. Now, I think the idea of streaming is super promising. I don't think it's going to take off or be as successful as people think in the near term. I think long term, yes, we're going to go to a more all digital streaming future, whether we like it or not, kicking and screaming. But but people like me will always be traditionalists in that I like having physical media. It's just a quirk of mine. But I'm still having trouble understanding this like dissonance between certain people in the video games business saying everyone's going to adopt this and me going, do you talk to gamers though?
Yeah.
Do you actually talk to people who buy games? Because a lot of those people like the fact that they own their game. In fact, it was a big fucking deal about it. And so with streaming, you don't really own any of those games.
And that's where it gets super interesting, right? In terms of the question here from Zakk in Indianapolis of how the marketplace and structure of this would work. Because the other night I was talking about it with Jen after a glass of wine, and I was like, let's watch the trailer again, and watch the xCloud trailer. And then she hadn't used it either yet. So I just took the PlayStation 4 controller, plugged it into my laptop, opened it, and we were playing it, and I was showing it. I'm like, we're there. Almost, it's not 4K or whatever, but we're there. This is happening right now. Imagine what happens as we continue to put resources into this, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be like any other technology, whether we want to talk in video games. So if you want to talk about VR or even the Switch or whatever weird, like that's a weird idea, right? It's got to get latched onto by a group that's going to make it their thing and then take it forward. And then even if you want to still own all your stuff and you don't want to be part of that, there's an ecosystem and an audience that is fueling it and making it a reality. But when you get into how it's all going to work, that's when it gets really, I don't know.
And I really appreciated Jared's insight when he was talking about streaming it on his really dumpy Chromebook.
Yeah.
But it still comes down to your internet connection. I think about something as simple as streaming a 30-minute Netflix episode.
Yeah.
And how if I'm in a hotel on hotel Wi-Fi,
right.
I can't, no matter how powerful your computer is, you're still chained to whatever internet connection you can be connected to.
Correct.
And I think that's the streaming problem that we're going to continue to run into. That sure, if I'm at home with my amazing, 1 gigabyte fiber connection, streaming will be awesome for me.
Yeah.
But if I'm on the road or if I'm let's say streaming on airplane Wi-Fi that maybe at its best is going between 1 and 2 megabits per second, then what good is it if I can stream it on my phone or on a really simple Android tablet or not,
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be down on it because I think the idea of it is so cool.
Yeah.
And I think the technology is really fascinating. And we keep going back to this idea that if Google is the one doing it, they have the best opportunity to succeed because they have such a dominant global infrastructure already in place to be set up for success. And Microsoft, to some extent, does as well.
Well, that was
right?
that thing, right? When we talked about this and somebody wrote in ranking it all, it was that the Azure stuff Microsoft is using is actually higher than the Google stuff in terms of this study somebody had from a report.
But it sounds like Google is ready to actually roll something out quicker than Microsoft is. That video that they put out, that Microsoft put out semi-recently with Phil Spencer and some other executives
right after the announcement
from the
of the
Microsoft
stream.
team, it felt like they were like, hey, we have all these centers around the world, but we're going to start really small and then slowly roll it out and see how it goes.
Agreed. But here's where it gets interesting, is that even that said, I feel like Microsoft, and this is just based on what we know right now and what we can hypothesize right now, I think Microsoft has a better chance at succeeding at it. Because I feel like it would be back to Zakk's question, where Google would pop up, and granted, you're during this beta period, you're getting Assassin's Creed Odyssey for free all the way through January. When they launch it, I would assume it's going to be buy the game. I have to pay you for the game. There'll be maybe a subscription service that gives you more. Depends on what the rollout is. When it's finally public and it's ready to go, I think it is that there's a Google Games or Google Stream, I guess, storefront. You buy the game, you own the game in there, right? Which to me makes it way less appealing than if Microsoft does it. And it's my Xbox Live. And I buy the game and it's on my Xbox and it's on my streaming service. And it is that when I'm here at work and I got 10 minutes, I'm going to boot up whatever game I'm playing on my phone, on the monitor, and just with my controller play. That's awesome. And then when I get home, I have the full-fledged Super HD experience in there. And I was talking to, Jen about it, For me, it's a game changer as the PlayStation fanboy, where if like that was the case and it was this one for all, it rules everything, like that I can play it anywhere, and like I know that I'm ignoring, yes, every time I've been in New York, the shitty hotel Wi-Fi, but if we've gotten to where 5G is a thing and I'm tethering my phone or whatever the fuck it would be, you know what I mean? In a perfect world, I can play these games and have, sure, drop in quality of the image and all this different stuff. That would actually really shake me into a way of like, well, fuck, I do want to play my games everywhere, even if it is just for 10 minutes. And that's the other thing, too, is the most of the use of me not playing at home would be here, where it is like, oh, well, we're waiting for Kevin to set something up. I'm going to pop in and do Luminous. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah. No, I agree that the idea of it sounds rad.
Yeah.
I'm all on board for the potential.
Yeah, the potential.
Of what this could be. I just don't know if the execution is there. Certainly not there today.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's going to be there next year or the year after that.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see. I have high hopes, and clearly Google has been working on this behind the scenes for quite some time. We've seen them hire a variety of people from the video games business who are working on this secret project, and so I think that they're probably going to launch it next year. And you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the test market goes. But just because they're testing it and launching it doesn't mean it's going to succeed. Look what happened 100%. To Google Glass.
Yeah. Google Glass is going to be back. Mark my words.
You think so?
Google Glass is going to be back and cool.
Google Glass contacts?
No, I just want them to look like my normal glasses.
Yeah.
I don't want them to look like some weird, fucking horrible homemade cosplay from Star Trek.
Privacy implication. No.
I don't care, man.
Can't, man.
I'll film everything and everybody. You don't like it? Too bad. Henry from Sydney writes in and says, hey, Greg and Andrea. When does Andrea think the PlayStation 5 is coming? The other day on the show, she mentioned that she doesn't expect new consoles until 2021 at the earliest, while Greg, Tim, Gary, and myself seem to be expecting at least an announcement as soon as next year. You are putting me into a broad thing I don't agree with. PlayStation 4 launched in November 2013, so a 2021 PS5 would mean an unprecedented 5-year console generation. Is another pizza bet in order. Love the show. Keep it up, guys. I'll let you go. But Henry is misquoting me quite a bit.
I appreciate you laying the numbers out, Henry, but I don't think PS5 is coming next year. I would say at the very earliest, we get a teaser next year and it launches 2020. I still think we get, start getting leaks next year.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we get an announcement in 2020, and then it launches 2021.
What I've been saying is, my thought process behind it is 2020, probably fall of... It's either going to be fall of 2020 or it's going to be spring of 2021. And I think part of that is playing into that statement from forever ago of like what PlayStation was looking at for the next thing, saying spring of 2021. But I think launching in fall would still give you that crossover before before your all systems go on a PlayStation 5.
Right.
But again, to Henry's point here of an unprecedented 8-year launch cycle, it's important to point out that we are in an unprecedented time.
We are.
Where we're doing iterative consoles and we're doing mid-generation upgrades.
Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro, right?
I still think, and I don't know how PlayStation's going to handle it, I still think Xbox's next box is going to be like, yep, you can still play these games on your Xbox One, but they're going to be way better on this Xbox, whatever we call it, and it's streaming, and it's this, and it's backwards compatible. I think we are very much moving to a Xbox platform and a PlayStation, for all intents and purposes, platform, where it is that you're playing front, back, forward, and you're just buying a different machine that makes things look better, run better. Maybe you'll only do certain things on certain apps.
You mean kind of like how PC gaming is?
100%, except it won't suck like PC gaming, all right? Everything will just work. Similar to why I'm excited for the streaming thing. You got a high-end PC that you're updating the drivers for over there? Great, I'll use it. I don't have to do it. It'd be like having Cool Greg come to the house and update all my drivers. If he would do that and put a graphics card in, great. But he just did this, which means no, he's not going to do that. Josh writes in with a question I don't have an answer for, Andrea, and I don't know if you do, so I'm putting it out there to the Kind of Funny community. Josh says, this may be an odd question, but with Extra Life's stream coming up in a few weeks, I was curious if you all knew of any similar charities that help with children, parentheses, or adults, for that matter, who suffer from multiple sclerosis. I know of Ablegamers, but wasn't sure what exactly their reach/emphasis is. As someone who was diagnosed with MS myself in 2017, parentheses, and KF content helped me cope more than you may know, end parentheses, I would love to find out about a way for me to combine my love for games and aiding in research surrounding the disease that's changed my life forever. I don't know, Josh. And of course, yeah, Ablegamers is gaming with disability. I'm not sure even. I've always known Ablegamers, from what I understand, to be more physical disability than medical disorders. And so I don't know if there is an MS gaming charity, or there isn't, or there's something similar to that groups it all together, or if that is in the wheelhouse of Ablegamers. So I'm putting it out there. Audience, to let me know. You can write in if we don't get something in kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Write into kindafunny.com/KFGD. We can answer it on Monday. But that is out there. We are looking to help Josh, and I'm happy to be there for you, Josh. You can get this. We got this. Don't worry. Final question of the day comes from Jesse. Jesse writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I am sure you are both tired about talking about Rockstar and Crunch, so I won't ask about that. My question to both of you is, how do you, as business owners, handle balancing work and life? Especially curious at the beginning when you were just starting your own company and had the very legitimate concern that your company could fail. I'm glad both of you were able to take time off not that long ago, and hope you both get some more well-deserved rest. Jesse.
Well, Jesse, thank you so much for asking the question. I think that the concern about our company's failing is ever present. Never really goes away when you're a small business owner, or maybe even if you're a large business owner. I think the important thing to remember is when you run your own company, even though Greg and I both took some time off recently, we don't really take time off completely. You can't really step away from your work 100% because you're always going to be inherently tied to that work. Now, we both have great business partners who support us and allow us to step away, but like I was still checking in on the daily because like
Sure.
it's hard to completely shut it off when you're so personally invested.
Well, I mean, it speaks back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show too, right? Of like, when our job is to be knowledgeable about video games, taking time off of video games is a huge problem.
Yeah.
And especially right now, right? Like this question came in today, and it's like just well timed. Of like, this week has kicked the shit out of me. I haven't been this exhausted and donezo at work in a long time, to the point of yesterday, there's so many different projects and things cooking where it was like, wait, we're an episode ahead on GOG, right? Game Over Greg Show. Yeah. Canceled the live recording yesterday. I'm like, I got other things to do right now. You stepped in and did Tuesday's show so I could handle the showcase emails, right? Like, it's been, and they've all been like at least 6:30 nights tonight, or here, which doesn't sound crazy, but I mean, before we go home, which is out of the ordinary. That hasn't been the case for a long time. And so the balance is constantly shifting, and it gets bad sometimes. And not only do you need great partners at work, you need great partners at home. Where just today, Jen hit me up where her mom's in town. She's visiting. And so I'm juggling a bunch of stuff at home that I'm doing for work, whether it be the showcase or games to play or whatever. And like this weekend, I could really use to shut down and just play games, so I know what I'm talking about coming up. And it was that thing of, she's like, well, do you need to? And I'm like, well, yes, but I also need to be your husband. So like, screw it. I can be behind and not beat this game or do this thing. It doesn't matter. It'll all net out fine in the end. Mm-hmm. And she hit me up. She's like, all right, I was talking to Mom. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, I don't want to be a bad husband. She's like, you're not a bad husband. That's not what this is. This is one of those scenarios where you do need to crunch. You do need to sit there and do all this. And I understand that. And we understand that. And it's like, that's not my every weekend, right? That's not my every day. But in this time period right now, probably in the lead up through Black Friday and into now the showcase, it will be for a while of crazy hours and having to do stupid things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough also. We get the question a lot about like, when do we just get to play games for fun and not games for work? And we obviously have the flexibility and luxury of being able to kind of pick and choose which games we want to cover on our respective shows, but we still sometimes have to play stuff that we wouldn't put enough time in. Like, I'm kind of juggling 4 games right now when I would just probably like to grind in Destiny the whole time. But like, I can't. I can't do that because I have an obligation to check out all these games, particularly in the lead up to Game Awards as a judging outlet. Like, we have a due diligence that we have to do to check out as many games as physically possible.
So it's a constantly shifting balance, Jesse, and we hope we find the right balance. Otherwise, you go crazy, and then Cool Greg has to take you away.
The most important thing to remember, Jesse, it's okay to say no.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes, but you just got to do it, and people are going to be okay, and the world's going to keep turning.
Yeah. Yeah, Jared gave a covert reference to that yesterday on a conversation he and I had before the show started. Yeah. He's like, do you want me to do the show with Andrea tomorrow? And I was like, no. You should, but no, I haven't done it with her in forever, right? And so on the show yesterday, he was like, well, it's, you tell Kevin to take time off, but you don't take time off. You don't stop, do you, right? And it's like, I see what you're doing, Jared. Shut up, you wise old reverend. Time to squad up. This is where one of you writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD with your username, platform of choice, your real name, why you need help in a video game. I read here the best friends come and find you and everybody has a good time. Today, Raymond needs help. His PSN is durgflyhart. DURGFLYHART. It'll be in the YouTube description. Don't panic. Hey, I'd like to squad up on PSN for Preta, Vendetta Rising. It's a Diablo-like PSVR game that's probably not that good, but I'm playing it anyway. Would love to try out the rating with some kind of funny best friends. If not, add me for some firewall fun. It's honestly a better game. Anyways, firewall's amazing. If you want to play some VR with Raymond, PSN, durgflyhart. Andrea, you haven't worked with me in a while.
True.
So you may have missed the news that Shuhei Yoshida no longer hates us.
Greg, you've been saying this. You do realize that Mr. Shuhei, while a lovely person, has nothing to do with the changing of the PSN IDs,
I am well aware, and I will never let him off the hook for it. Shuhei has announced that you're allowed to change your PSN name soon, so we're saying goodbye to bad PSN names here on. I almost said PS I Love You on Kind of Funny Games Daily. Today, Matt from Memphis writes in with his bad PSN name story that he can't wait to change. I don't have a vulgar or grammatically incorrect PSN name, but it's embarrassing nonetheless. And it's a gamer tag that has haunted me since 2006. My PSN ID is Asian Thunder. I came up with the handle after my cousin showed me a video of a stripper she hired named Oriental Thunder, parentheses, who incidentally fell through a table he was dancing on top of during said video. I thought the name was hilarious, so I decided to make my PSN ID Asian Thunder. Just an FYI, I changed the word Oriental to Asian because people are Asians. Oriental refers to objects. Excellent point. I'm surprised how many people don't know that. It's still a thing. Not that, I mean, like, you know, I digress. Simply put, on that fateful day 12 years ago, I learned the harsh lesson of online accountability, and now I thank our Lord and Savior, Shuhei Yoshida, for letting us change our PSN names. Thank you, Kind of Funny crew, for the hours of entertainment you bring us every week. Matt in Memphis, a.k.a. Asian Thunder.
I hope somebody writes into You're Wrong every day to say that Shuhei Yoshida is not responsible for the changing of PSN IDs.
You will not be read, so you're wasting your time if you do that. Don't do that.
If I'm
Mr.
on the
Yaz,
show,
man,
I'll read you.
Oh, Andrea, it's time for You're Wrong.
Speaking
of course, we ask people watching live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screwed up as we screwed up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. What did we get wrong today?
Today, Serious George 92 says Jump Force is currently only listed as February 2019, and I wouldn't be surprised if this anime-focused game falls on that dreaded 22nd release date if the publisher feels it caters to a different audience. I guess that's in relationship to us talking about everything coming out in February next year. Concerning February 22nd release date, says Lord of Pwn, titles coming out around then. Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out January 29th. Dead or Alive 6 comes out February 15th. The Division 2 comes out March 15th. Woo-hoo! And Sekiro Shadows Die Twice rounds out Q1, releasing on March 22nd. Also, Andrea mentioned Devil May Cry while I was writing this. Plus, you've got Metro Exodus and maybe Crackdown.
It's got to be, right? If Crackdown doesn't come out now.
That game's never coming out. It's gone. It's gone forever. Lord of Pwn, to clarify, that extra 50 gigabytes on PS4 for Red Dead Redemption 2 is just free space needed for downloading. Installing, it won't actually be downloaded. Important for people that may have internet data caps. So you just need the space, but it actually isn't going to download an extra 50 gigabytes. But you have to have an extra 50 gigabytes of space.
Yeah,
which is,
you have to have that clear on your hard drive.
Which is weird, but you know. Lord of Pwn, again, the Discord policy change only applies to people in the United States.
Gotcha, thank you.
Kyle literally says, did you say Halloween Forever is out today? According to PlayStation.com, Halloween Forever is out on Monday, October 22nd.
Take it up with Kotaku.com.
And then these are all the Rocket League things that people wrote in. The one that I am going to read is from an anonymous
Hip Hop Anonymous
Rocket League tester that says...
Take it with a grain of salt. We can't prove.
Yes, true. We can't prove if you actually were a tester or not. I think you are mistaken with regards to what they are saying. Crossplay is as easy as flipping a switch. A former Rocket League tester we use to test and play games with each other across all available platforms without an issue. Silex allowed this on a private testing server. Rocket ID, however, will allow users to party up with users on PC from a PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and vice versa. So it's a slightly different feature than crossplay. Allowing crossplay would be as simple as checking a box. But this goes back to the comment I said that, what would be the point? And then somebody, of course, wrote in and said the point would be to increase, this would lower opponent, to increase the player population. I'm pretty confident that Rocket League is not having issues with their player population on any of their platforms. So maybe that argument would work for a different game that's considering crossplay. But
they just want to do it all at once. Everybody calm down.
Yeah, my main point stands. Lord Opponent from Friday fact, Steve Gaynor is actually the love child of James Hetfield of Metallica fame and Andrew Goldfarb of Pokemon Go fame. Don't believe me? Check images. Have a great weekend.
We're not going to check those images. That sounds gross. That's how you get a virus.
Oh. Okay. Oh, K. Rule says Google Glass didn't die. It's being used in different ways, like on manufacturing floors and other industries.
And one day it'll be back to be awesome.
Zaire says New Game Plus and a new difficulty mode have been added to Spider-Man today with additional trophies to get. Uh-oh, Greg.
They are
trophies.
prepping for the DLC.
Yeah.
Available Tuesday. Can't wait. Black Cat.
Will from New Jersey says, according to Jared Petty, Cool Greg would be willing to come over to Greg's house and update the drivers on his PC if it meant he could also watch Hulu on it.
Cool Greg does love Hulu. He watches on Switch every day.
Serious George 92 says, just a small update. Tim Geddes is verified on Instagram.
I hate everybody, stop it. Don't bring that shit here. That's a morning show bit.
Thank you, Serious George, for writing in that Shuhei Yoshida is not responsible for PSN name changes. Leave the poor man alone.
I feel I gave him shit for years he didn't deserve. So now I should only give him the praise that he no longer hates people.
That's fair.
Okay.
Oh, I like your Spider-Man.
Enjoy Spider-Man today, everybody.
That's nice. Good job.
Just chilling out over there, being Spidey.
That's it. That's all I've got.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show, kindafunny.com/KFGD, with questions, comments, bad PSN names for a little bit longer because Shu doesn't hate you anymore, and everything else under the video game sun. Then tune in on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, or podcast services around the globe. Next week, your hosts go like this. Monday, Tim, it's me. Me for most of them. Me and Tim on Monday. Tuesday, me and Andrea. Wednesday, Andrea and Dave Krause from Stack Up. Thursday, Jared and myself. Friday, Tim and question marks.
Because I'm going to be at TwitchCon.
Right. So I got to look into that. And I'll be, of course, on my way to EGLX in Toronto. kindafunny.com/EGLX.
Nice. And we're doing a What's Good Games meet and greet at TwitchCon. Location, we're still finalizing, but it'll be within walking distance of the convention center.
Nice. Is everybody up?
Yeah, all the girls are coming into town.
Awesome.
It's going to be great. We're debuting our new episode of Twitch's new series called The Setup. We're the premiere episode, What's Good Games is.
What is that show?
So we actually shot it with Mary Kish, who you know, back in January.
Oh, wow.
So almost a year ago. And we thought it was going to come out much earlier, and now they're just debuting it at TwitchCon. But it's a behind-the-scenes look at the studio that we have.
Oh, neat.
And so you can see some of the equipment we use and some of the software we use. And so if you guys are interested in learning about streamers and their setups, they have a brand new show called The Setup.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/Twitch.
Rad.
Friday the 26th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not this Friday. Not today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Next week.
Luckily, nothing else out on the 26th that would occupy anybody's time.
There's nothing happening that weekend.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.